Welcome to episode number 6 of the First Time Home Buyer series. My name is Jain Lindo and I'm a realtor with the Perfect House team at the Real Estate Group. In this episode, we're going to be talking about step number 6, which is submitting an offer to purchase. So in the last episode, we spoke about selecting your perfect house and we weighed the pros and cons to see if this is the right house for you or not. So let's say the pros outweigh the cons and you say, you know what, Jain, this is the home. You want to move forward and submit an offer. First thing I would do is say, let's jump on a call and let's discuss what this entails. So basically what an offer to purchase is, it's a contract. So it's a standard purchase agreement. That's the technical term for it. And it basically is a contract that lists the terms and conditions of your offer to purchase this specific home. So one of the first things we're going to look at in this contract is the purchase price. And I'm going to list a few other things. It's an 18-page document. Some of my mentors and brokers, like they've mentioned that, they've been doing it for over 20 years. So in the beginning, when they started over 20 years ago, it was only like 10 or 11 pages, and now it's 18. So there's a lot of stuff that got added to it to protect people from getting sued for different things. So I'm not going to go through the whole contract because that will make it a 10-minute episode. I'm just going to highlight 4 to 5 main things, in the offer to purchase to look out for. So the first thing is the purchase price. So that's something that we'll talk about. And the purchase price is basically what we're going to offer to purchase this home. And let's say the listing price is $300K. So it depends on a few different factors. So first thing we're going to look at is state of the market. So if you're watching this in 2020, it's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy market. There's an imbalance of supply and demand. There's not enough supply to meet the demand at the moment. And it's been like that for a few months now, which means that there's a lot of competition out there when it comes to submitting offers for homes. So there's homes that in a usual market, in a stable market, in a balanced market, they may not get as many offers on each home as they are now. But because there's not enough inventory to go around, you're having homes that are getting offers, 10, 15, 20 offers. One of my clients, like, we submitted an offer, I think it's like the end of August, early September, and we felt good about it. Beautiful home. We felt confident going into it, and ended up being 25 offers total. 25 offers total on one home, and that was within 3 days. So that's the kind of market that we're dealing with. So that's something that we'll consider. What's the competition looking like? What's the market looking like? And that will base our purchase price off of that. And then one of the other main things is the comparables. So comparables meaning homes in the area that have sold. So in let's say a mile radius or a few miles radius, similar homes that have sold, that are under contract or that are active on the market. We'll look at the prices to see if the home that we're looking to submit an offer on, if it's in line with what we see, with what we do. So we'll run a report, and then we'll look at those prices to see, all right, it's listed at $300K. Okay, that's a fair price because we looked at a few others and it listed for around the same price or the exact same price. So we'll look at that as well. And then the next thing we'll look at is the condition of the home. So there's a lot of work need to be done. Does it need a new roof? Does it need new windows? Is the bathrooms and maybe the kitchen is things that are very outdated, and those things need to be updated. So you may have to put a lot of money into it. So that will factor into the purchase price as well. So those are some things that we'll consider when trying to determine the purchase price. And once we come to a conclusion, we'll talk and say, all right, let's offer asking price, or we're gonna offer 5,000 more or 10,000 more, depending on how bad you want it. How long are you going to live in this home? There's several questions that go into deciding what's the best purchase price to offer. And then the next two things that tie into the financing is the deposit. That's pretty standard. Usually it's the same amount. So that's not a big deal. And then the down payment, that's more unique to you. So it depends on how much cash you have on hand, what you're comfortable with doing. And you may say, I just want to do 5%, or like, hey, I want to do 10% or 15%. depending on your financial situation and what your mortgage banker, ran as far as your credit go and stuff like that, then we'll decide on what the down payment should be, and that will be included in the contract as well. So we'll have purchase price, deposit, down payment. That's basically on the first page of there to get all the financing information out of the way. And then the next thing that ties into that is the closing costs, so settlement expenses. And that's something that ties into the purchase price decision as well, because especially in this market, in 2020, you may say, all right, I'm going to offer asking price, but I'm going to pay my own closing costs. And what I've seen is that, especially in this market, to remain competitive, a lot of buyers are just, that's kind of standard now, is I'm going to pay my closing costs, because sellers have so many buyers, on the table now that they don't want to pay the closing costs, because they're like, there's someone out there out of all of these buyers that they're going to pay the closing costs. So that's something that factors in, because that's going to add thousands of dollars more to your pocket that you have, coming out of your pocket, not to your pocket, coming out of your pocket. So that's something that we'll consider as well when it comes to the purchase price, is the closing cost. And then last main item is the items to convey. So items to convey meaning, what you get to keep when you purchase your next home. So let's say, there was a massive industrial size refrigerator in there, and you're like, I have to have this, I have to keep this. And if that box isn't checked off in that section of items to convey, when that time comes for closing, you may show up, or the last walkthrough, you may show up and then it's not there, and you're like, hey, where's the refrigerator? Like, I wanted that. Or you may assume that it's going to be there, but if it's not checked off on the contract, then they may take it with them. And that's where I come in as a realtor, is making sure that whatever you want to convey is checked off on that contract. And that's why I always go to the contract page by page with my client to make sure that we don't miss anything, in all sections obviously, but that's a big section that we don't want to miss anything, because we don't want to have any surprises when the final walkthrough comes or when closing day comes, that you don't get that appliance or that fixture or whatever it was you were looking forward to having, and you don't get to have that. So that's a big part of it, and we'll go through that as well. Check off all the boxes, refrigerator, washer, dryer, whatever it may be. We'll make sure those boxes are checked off to make sure that you get everything that you need and want to convey with the home. And something else in that section is warranties. So any existing warranties and manuals for any big appliances or roof, HVAC, windows, we'll put verbiage in there as well, saying all existing warranties and manuals in place to convey with the home, so that way you can have that peace of mind knowing that your appliances and your roof, your HVAC, windows, if there's warranties in place, you can have peace of mind that those are protected under those warranties as well. So those are the main things that we look at in the contract. Like I said, it's 18 pages, so obviously there's other things that we'll look at, and I usually go through each page with my client, and that's something important that you should do as well. Make sure you read the contract. Sometimes what I do is I send it beforehand, before we even get to this stage in the process, like, hey, here's a blank standard purchase agreement. When you have time, just skim through it, 1 page a day, 1 page a week, just so you're familiar with the verbiage. So when it's time to submit that offer, you already know what you're looking at, you already know what it entails. So the next step is going to be, everything looks good, we agree on the main things: purchase price, closing costs, items to convey, everything else, everything looks good. I send the agreement to you via DocuSign, beauty of technology, electronic signature. That gives you another opportunity to look at it again before you sign. Click through, e-sign it, I'll get it back, I'm going to sign it, make sure everything looks good, and then I'm going to email the listing agent the contract along with any other documentation that's needed to officially submit the offer on your behalf for your perfect house. And then we wait. So in the next episode, we're going to talk about what's going to happen based on the response, and stay tuned for that. So I hope this was helpful. I know this was a longer episode, but I tried to avoid going through the entire contract, but I hope this was helpful for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on Instagram, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share it. Let me know if you have any feedback, any questions. I would love to answer any questions. Watching this on Facebook, please hit the like button, comment, share it with anyone that you know that this can be helpful for. If you or someone that you know is looking in Hampton Roads to buy a home, please reach out, DM me, send me an email. I would love to help and answer any questions that you may have. Again, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Stay tuned for the next episode.